Hello, and welcome to the second session of our SIG Planar Spring series. I am here again with our same cast of players. We've got Sid. Who are you playing?
It's been like 2 weeks, Carl. I don't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Um, where did? Oh, it's on Roll20. I was like, is it on this? Here we go.
It's Honeysuckle,
Yeah,
I think.
hey, it is. I was just looking for where the character sheet bit was. I'm playing Honeysuckle Riley. She is a translator that kind of delivers messages throughout the planes, and so yeah, operates in that space. And I've got some pretty cool connections to some other characters that I'm looking to flesh out in this sesh.
Yeah, we'll see how these characters all play off of each other and the others. So Maria, who are you playing?
I'm playing Algebar of the written word, who is a complete asshole just by looking at him.
Yeah, I feel like we have like a
I
75% asshole ratio in this party here. So
mean, yes. I mean, yes. But my work is honest business reality hacker. I am described as that fucker.
yeah.
And yeah, some other shit that is part of the game, and I'll explain it when it comes along, I guess, unless you play or it was explained in last session, either or.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it last session, and we'll go over everybody's beliefs before we start playing, so that everybody's aware of what's going on. Lou, how's it going over there? Who are you playing?
Hey, so I'm playing Knerd, hard K Knerd.
Don't forget the K.
I think maybe that's a thing that everybody does, forget the K. So I'm, what do you call it? Is it Primal Worlds? It's he's from a primal world. And I guess so he's from this whole planet of blue-skinned, four-armed. It's like a bard planet, I guess. They communicate mainly through music, and I think that they're all empaths as well. So that's where he's coming from. Yeah, he's, I guess, one of the most interesting things about him to me is this worship, like the spiritual part where he's the god that he's connected to is all about numbing pain, soothing, quenching pain.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see, quench the pain.
Yes. Yeah, it's certainly interesting to have somebody who's like very empathetic and also is trying to basically help other people by numbing out all of their painful emotions.
I kind of like the potential selfishness of it as well, that it's like, shh, that emotion's too loud. Like, just like, shh, see there, all better now. It's quiet.
Yeah. I know that feeling, so yeah. All right, and Ellen, who are you playing?
I'm playing a mixed blood woman, Talon the Crafty. She creates pottery infused with alchemical properties, and she is a little ball of confliction within herself.
Mm-hmm.
So she thinks that, you know, some things need to be held on to, but does also have a difficult relationship with her family.
Right. Yes. And so her family, they were like fire folks?
Yeah. Her mama is a fire heart and her papa is primal blood.
Right. And what was the source of her conflict with her family? Do you remember?
She felt controlled by them, and she felt like she was beholden to a family responsibility, and I don't think she wants that.
Mm-hmm. Right. Okay, well, let's take a look at your beliefs, everybody. In this game, every character gets 3 beliefs. One of them is based on their family heritage, another is based on their political faction, and another is based on their spiritual power or divinity that they are associated with. So, Honeysuckle, what are your beliefs?
My beliefs are, my family belief is that all relationships are built on self-interest.
And where's that coming from?
I think it's coming from I think we spoke about it. So man, 2 weeks is a long time between games. I think it comes from the like just utilitarianism of her parents, and just the fact that they were kind of transactional with each other, and so that's the way that parents treat each other, we kind of try and replicate, or we're doomed to replicate in some ways.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a theme of this game. So
yeah. The political belief is truth is objective, but information is immutable, and information is immutable, and that's the heralds. They are big on delivering messages across the planes, and so I think they've got like a big thing about like the information that you are passed on by people is to be respected, and that a continuation of that is that there is an objective truth that exists.
Yeah.
And finally, my spiritual belief, based on Aladra of the Frozen Tears, for whom we should never forget the names of the dead. My belief is that the fate is melting, and the fate is fading, and her tears will melt.
Yes. So you think that she's dying, right? I believe that was the angle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll see about that. She'll probably make an appearance. All right, and let's move on to that fucker Algabar. So please tell us about said fucker. What are his beliefs?
All right. His family belief is true love is a trick of the mind, which comes from one of his parents being tricked by his other parent to basically conceive him. So there's that.
Yeah, because your one of your parents was the heritage was
Aesigalar.
Yes.
The other one is Apolari. So then we have information is the sword that gives the weak, in which because he's part of the Sage Collegium, so he is big on like knowledge is power, but let's not actually use those terms because that's too cliche. So let's make it fancier.
Yeah, this feels like it's more directly like a thing an asshole would say. So I'm down with it. Let's continue.
All right. True. And then all hopes and dreams are self-interested because his spiritual power is Nyx the Oracle, and their devotion is never stopped from someone from following their dreams. And he's very self-interested, so yes, he thinks that everyone's dreams and hopes are like that.
Yeah, so he's gonna try to turn Sig into Rapture. This is kind of what I'm feeling here.
Amazing.
Everything will go swimmingly in our new libertarian paradise.
Swimmingly, literally.
No pun intended. All right, and let's talk about Knerd. What are your beliefs there, Knerd?
Okay. So the family line thing is that everyone has good inside of them, and I was actually thinking of that as a overarching cultural like thing for this place that this planet that he's come from. And I think the interesting part of that is some sort of rival or something that I've got. I can't quite remember.
Yes, you do have a rival.
Yeah, and they're from the same planet as me, but I think maybe they're a bit of an aberration in that regard of thinking everyone has good inside of them. I think that.
Yes, and I'm sorry, I forgot to reshare the doc that we worked out last time. So I will paste that over to you because it has the minor characters on it.
Yeah, sweet. Then I've got this political view that's coming through my association with the Performers Guild. And their whole deal is creating cultural bridges between, like, it's such a complicated cultural and political place, I guess, already, and then shit's changing all the time with these like planes that are connecting with it. So their whole deal is that trying to I guess facilitate like understanding and stuff and help conflicts be solved. So his political view is that all his belief all conflicts can be resolved through the influence of the arts.
But truth is objective and information is immutable. What will happen? Continue.
And the spiritual belief coming through the worship of Omalaub the Tranquil is that all pain must be quenched. Like I pretty much can't ignore someone in pain.
Yeah.
But I like that connection with the empathic thing. Like I literally cannot ignore someone in pain. It's as if they're speaking it, and then I have to do something about it.
Yeah, it's kind of like you agree with Omalaub's principles, but it might also be the case that you sort of signed up for being an Omalaubian because it was just like a therapeutic thing. Like, okay, this is a way I could deal with this really tough oversensitivity.
Yeah, and I think perhaps on the planet, the world that he's from, you can't just like quench people's pain like that. It's probably not where everybody's empathic. It's probably not a cool thing to just be like, shh.
Yeah,
just to like make it quiet.
Well, it would create a cascading effect, right? Then everybody would be able to communicate. Everything, the whole society would fall apart. But hey, this is SIG. This is not where you're from. And also, I think like Omalaub, in my mind, Omalaub is totally Nito from Dark Souls. He's a big, weird skeleton ghost man. That just wants to help people out. All right, and Ellen, you are playing. Sorry, I lost my sheet there. So you're playing as Talon, and Talon, what are your beliefs?
As I mentioned earlier, she has some complications with her family. And so she believes that family is a fire that needs to be quenched. And she wants to absolve herself of her family commitments. She also believes that art has its place regardless of price. So even though she is works with the Artificers Guild, she wants to create high quality crafts and give them to people who need them, rather than just assign a dollar value and sell them to the best bidder.
Yeah, and I think we talked about, like, in the last session, that she has some kind of like sense of where things need to go, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I think her inspiration, she doesn't know where it comes from, but when she has created something and the right person for that right piece arrives at her stall, she will knock and she will go, "This is yours."
so you can maybe get on board with this truth is objective idea to some extent.
Yeah, I could twist my thoughts to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do like the idea that all conflicts can be resolved through the influence of the arts. I like that, but that's Knerd's belief, but I strongly disagree with Knerd's all pain must be quenched belief, as I am too a follower of Aludra, and I believe that loss is beautiful and makes us strong. So we need to remember the names of the dead. We need to feel that pain, because if you lose that pain, then you forget who was there in the first place.
Yes. So will her tears make her stronger, or will they kill her? We'll have to see.
Let's play to find out.
Yeah, let's play to find out. And here are minor characters. I'll just briefly recap them. We have Mazis, who steals hearts. The Asigular faction is the Heralds. They are seductive and well-connected and entangled with a lot of people.
They're my parent.
Yeah, yeah. What's their pronouns, by the way? Would be helpful to me.
I think they them for now, because just because it's like I think the Asigular are like weird because they can possess people, so I guess gender is less of a concern for them, because they can, or not less of a concern, but like if you happen to get into a person with a different gender, then it's, I guess it's like, okay, or rather they can choose whoever they possess. I don't know. I'm not explaining myself well. Let's just leave it at they them, because they can choose their gender, essentially.
Yeah, it may be fairly fluid, and they're kind of operating on a rather different plane than most of us. So yeah. And next character we have is Benart, the aforementioned rival for Knerd. A fellow member of the Fanud heritage, a worshiper of Nyx. So I believe that is the same as
Algebar.
Algebar, yeah. So and Benart is, really famous, successful musician, but also sadistic. So not a nice person like Knerd.
Yeah, and I kind of had the idea, because he's also empathic, that means he's creating situations where people feel really negative things because he enjoys like feeling that. Like that's where it happens. Totally.
Yeah, if he was a GM, he would be running Torchbearer. So let's continue to Loki, the Keeper of Names. this is the person who actually keeps the names for Eludra, right? For Eludра's church. And so the names of the dead, they have an eidetic memory. They're very organized because you need to be to keep track of that much information. And they're also hypersensitive because they're a little bit overwhelmed by everything. They've got a heavy burden to bear. And Netta the Procurer, this is somebody who works for the Performers Guild, is a Fireheart, and I believe we sort of established that she like works in markets and is somebody who takes no shit from people, is rich, and has a trail of enemies. That was a character related to Tawan, correct? Is that right?
Yeah, and Knerd because of the connection with the Performers.
Right.
Yeah, not familiar relation.
Not a familiar relation, but somebody who helped you market your goods. Was that something like what was the connection there?
I think coming across Netta in the marketplace, recognizing a fellow Fireheart, I think that we communicated, and yeah, they were able to promote successfully. And I think Netta is able to put up cash up front for any big jobs that you want to build.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there was an element of like procurement for the Performers Guild, like dressing the like if they're trying to do some diplomatic, like some mediation or something, that they might have been getting your like ceramics to dress the space in and stuff too, because they have such a profound effect on people.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. And then the last character we had was Tomura upon Western Wind, another cubby from the Sage Collegium, worshiper of Omulaub. They were a methodical mycologist, and they were kind of monotonous and dull. And then we have, of course, Castafiel the vampire, who is trying to siphon information or siphon power off of the tethers that bind the city of Sig to the plains, using a magnificent art collection, but now is very dead. All right. So let's talk about doing our first scene here. So to begin, we are going to start with the framing phase. And everybody is going to roll their smoke dice and compare each other's result, re-rolling in the case of ties. So I have the capacity to roll. Trying to remember, I think I might have written down what my die allocation was.
I was gonna say I have the worst smoke out of everyone, but I rolled a 6, my highest I could roll.
Nice, nicely done.
Yeah, it was either 12 or 8. Those are the options for the GM.
Right.
Oh, so I'm guaranteed to have a choice. Yay!
Write this down somewhere else. I will just pick again from the beginning. So I can choose one die at 12 and one die at 8, right?
And it's based on either personal conflicts or more societal change or something. I don't
So
remember.
yeah, so this was like a personal conflicts game. So then what's the die that I get for
8.
that?
Well,
I get
12 spark and 8 smoke, I think.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down.
Because the alternative is the other way around.
Yeah. Okay, so I get 12 spark, 8 smoke. Cool. All right. And I'm gonna roll. So I'm rolling with smoke. A 1. Well, looks like I'm not going to be setting much. So let's get started then. The highest roll was from Algabar, which means that you get to make the first pick of whether you choose the platform, the tilt, or the question for this scene. So the platform is where and when the scene is taking place. The tilt is some action or event that will force the characters into action. And the question is what question we want to answer with the scene. So similar to some story games like Microscope, we define a question, and then once the question's been answered, the scene wraps. So Algabar, which of these would you like to define?
I think I would like to define the tilt.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that is
mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Someone accuses let's say someone accuses Honeysuckle of murdering Castafiel.
Okay.
And that's the tilt.
So I'm just going to start writing these down in our Google Doc here. So scene 1, tilt. Someone accuses Honeysuckle of murdering Castafiel. Okay. Good. Who wants to continue? Wait, it's decided by order. It's who wants what. It's who wants what. So the next person would be Honeysuckle. Which of these two are you going to pick? The question or the setting?
I think I'm going to choose the setting, the platform.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I think I'm going to choose the brass tether, which is the third great planar port.
Mm-hmm. So we're at the brass tether. And
oh my god, we are at the brass tether. Okay. That's amazing already. And someone else is accusing you of murder. Yes.
Oh, yes. When is the question? The other question, right?
Is that for me or is that for someone?
That's for you. That's for you.
All right, cool.
Where and when.
Where and when. Fuck, look at this. I power gamed. I get to answer 2 questions. I'm gonna say.
Answer sorry.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
If it makes you happier, I can answer the who is accusing you of murder.
That'll be useful.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. And let me think. I think let's have Maziz, who is from the Herald faction. So truth.
Mm-hmm.
They might actually think that you're the murderer.
They might. Cool.
Okay.
So let's put this at the brass tether during like an early evening, as the does SIG have stars?
As far as I know, it's a completely self-contained environment.
Yeah,
it's just like Infinite City, like a tourist.
Yep.
I can.
Yep. So
I can.
never sleeps, sort of thing.
Well, I can also imagine like the stars being the different primes since they're infinite.
Mm.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be able to see those because there's portals to them, right? But you can only really see the tethers as like obvious connections. The other portals are kind of everywhere.
Maybe distant portals look like tiny pinpricks of light.
Yeah, I mean it's possible. Like I mean, it is a place of wonders, right?
Yeah, I think this is probably like an early evening where there's not as many people around as there would be in the heat of the day, or in the middle of the day. But it's still obviously being like populated.
Oh yeah,
or populous.
So
But I wouldn't call it bustling at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I have
And
a question.
how like what's the time relative to the accusation here? That's kind of the.
Oh, is that what you mean by when?
Is this like immediately at the accusation, shortly afterwards?
Well, I guess it would be shortly afterwards because that's the tilt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's what causes this to happen. So
yeah, so I think it's got to be like within minutes of the accusation having occurred, right?
Okay, after the accusation.
Cool. So the brass tether is the one that connects to the elemental plane, right?
I believe that is correct. I will read out
Okay.
the information about the brass tether once we are finished establishing this stuff. So the question will go to our next highest player, which was Talon. What is the question we want to answer in this scene?
I think, would it be too early in the game to go to say we want to determine whether or not Honeysuckle is guilty? Is that too early? Or we could just...
No, I don't think so. There's going to be consequences that flow from that either way. So yes.
Let's try and determine if Honeysuckle's guilt or lack thereof.
Right. So is Honeysuckle guilty or innocent? Cool. And next, yeah, I don't think there's anything in particular I have to do as part of the framing phase because I was not in the running to do something. Yeah, that's right. Third highest score gets the last option. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about the brass tether.
So sorry, Kyle, I just saw that at the beginning of each scene, the GM gets the first opportunity to make a statement or declaration.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't the beginning yet.
Yeah, I just want to give you some background information, and then I'll get to actually setting the scene.
Cool.
Yeah, so the brass tether is the third great planar portal in SIG. This place offers an endless bounty of raw materials, metallic ore, fresh water, clean air, heating fuel, and cooling ice. These goods are stockpiled in massive warehouses that keep the city in good supply of these essential elements. Various heavy industries, from ore smelters to smithies to alchemists, set up their workshops or factories close to this port. Hundreds of laborers work tirelessly to transform the raw elements into what the city needs. Dedicated miners spend months at a time carving blocks and slate slabs from the plane of stone for construction. Massive furnaces channel the heat from the plane of flame to refine ore and purify various substances. Specially prepared channels are in place to direct water into the Great River to supply the city. Small windmills top the warehouses to harvest the massive energies from the plane of wind. One heavily insulated warehouse functions as a dedicated ice box to keep produce fresh for the rich and powerful. Okay, so that's our general location here, and I'm going to describe the specific scene here. So I first would like to know, Maria, if you could tell me what sort of person is Mazis currently being symbiotic or parasitic with? What do they look like?
I think they're an attractive young person.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Okay.
someone who is really, really attractive to right now, I guess, to Honeysuckle, because they wanted to get I'm imagining that they wanted to get close and then make the accusation, so that's where we pick up, I guess.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Sure. Okay. So it's maybe like really attractive young Polari that they're currently controlling, and I think we probably are standing next to like a huge windmill that's channeling this energy from the plane of air, because this is a thing I forgot to mention, but the planes that are currently ascendant, they're currently tethered to Sig, right? So the brass tether would be tethered to the plane of wind, right? So the plane of wind's belief is that every message is sacred. And I believe that the plane of wind is blowing especially hard at this moment, because that's where the tether is. So these windmills are running full tilt, and it's probably like difficult to actually hold a conversation because the sound of the wind is so intense, and the sound of the windmill gears moving is tremendous, right? Like that grinding, whining sound that you get from windmills is just like in the background, very, very loud. Yeah, and I think all the characters are sort of dwarfed by the size of these constructions around them, and they're. I think the reason why Mazis has summoned everybody to this place in order to make their accusation is because there is a painting that Castafiel had of this particular location that they were using to siphon off the energy from the plane of wind, from the brass tether. So this is a significant location, and maybe it's like it was found with Honeysuckle. The painting was found with Honeysuckle. So yeah. So I think that's the general situation here. So I described the scene based on the platform and the tilt, and I think Mazis is sort of framed by this huge windmill in the background and holding up this painting, saying, well, as you can all see, the painting matches, and it was found in your home, Honeysuckle. Seems unusual, doesn't it? Castafiel was not one to easily part with his prized possessions.
It was not my my job to find out why Castafiel wanted to part with his possessions. It was only my job to deliver it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'd be happy to do if you would return that painting to me.
Oh, I'm sure you would like it. I think you didn't have this as part of a job. Where is your contract? This is a city where nothing can be hidden. Surely it should be easy for all of us to find.
Contracts Uncomfortable. You only need a contract if you fear that the parties you treat with will not be true to you. And I've never had such an experience with Castafiel.
Well, but surely there's some record of your relationship. After all, isn't the truth immutable?
Yes, but it doesn't need to be written down to be true.
Well, then where is it? Isn't it gone?
I can find that information.
Oh, well, please be so helpful.
And I want to say that my declaration right now will be that I do indeed do some minor search on like maybe I have some sort of book or notebook and I or, sorry, rewind. I did bring my list of notes on the case because my parent asked me to, and I think after some information gathering I did find out that Honeysuckle was not related to the murder.
Okay.
If that's okay. That's my declaration. Anyone may refute it as per
Yes.
the rules.
I'd frame that as you have information that suggests Honeysuckle is not connected to the murder.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're in agreement with that, I'm going to contest your declaration.
Okay.
Because I think Honeysuckle was connected to the murder. So let's see how this goes here. So we are going to go to the conflict phase.
Yes.
Each person at the table chooses to propose, support, or abstain from a declaration. So I'm going to write the declaration. Please write down the declaration, Maria.
Okay. My declaration is I have information that what's the right word that that makes you innocent, basically. There's a word for it,
proof of your innocence, proof of Honeysuckle's innocence.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. You can write it in the Google Doc under the scene.
Oh, I was writing on the Roll20. I'm sorry.
That's fine. It's just I find it's easier to edit text in Google Docs because you don't have to do the grabbing things and moving them around stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Final Fantasy fight music.
Bruh. We're suddenly playing hack.
Okay, so declaration. That is from.
Or I will say Algebar has.
Yeah.
Algebar has.
Yeah.
Because English.
Okay, good. And next, we're going to say who is supporting or abstaining from the declaration.
I support it because I put it up.
Yes, you made the proposition, so that would.
Is this an in-character thing or an out-of-character thing?
It would be both.
Cool.
As far as I remember, I think it is both.
Yeah, this is one where there's a bit of conflict because, like, obviously, advocating for Honeysuckle, I think that I would support that as true. Advocating for me as a player, I would reject that.
Okay.
I think it's more as a player,
as a player level. Yeah.
And then it's the stat that you're using kind of reflects on whether it's the player or the character itself. Like,
Okay.
I'm not sure.
It says so. It says the first of every conflict is to figure out what people would like to happen if they win the conflict. Okay, well, we'll do that. Conflicts always involve two sides, with each person proposing a possible outcome. Each of the participants will roll a die to determine who gets their way. Others at the table may choose to support one of the two declarations if they like. If they support a side, they need to describe how their assistance helps achieve that side's outcome. So it is something that your character must support in the fiction in order to support mechanically. It is like we are doing a duel of wits, if you want to help, you have to help in the fiction. You can't just help purely at the player level. Yeah.
So does someone else need to make a declaration?
I will make the opposite declaration. Yes. So
okay, cool.
So this is.
I'm going to support the opposite declaration then, which I think is because I'm going to say that Knerd Honeysuckle is emanating guilty like vibes. He's guilty. He's
okay.
done something.
So my declaration will be that, I mean, pretty simple. Algabar has proof of Honeysuckle's guilt. So supporting, let's see here, supporting Nerd. Anyone supporting Algabar's declaration of innocence, or are you going to abstain?
I'm going to support Algabar's declaration because knowing Honeysuckle's knowing that Honeysuckle is doing their job, like, you know, you have to deliver the messages. And, you know, regardless of, you know, who is giving or receiving the messages should be delivered.
Okay, so you think that, like, how does that connect to your character?
So my I see the heralding as a type of art.
Mm-hmm.
So I see, like, art needs to happen to reach its goal. Like, art is created to reach its goal. Like, the message is created and needs to be sent to reach its destination. So okay, I feel like heralders are a type of artist, and I believe that if you're an artist, then you're an honest person.
So you would, like, be arguing in favor of what Honeysuckle is saying because you think that what
and their
story is makes sense.
Yeah, their story makes sense, and I can see that there would be evidence for that. I can see evidence in the way that they carry out their work.
Okay, I see. Okay, and Sid, how are you feeling there? Are you going to abstain? Are you going to support a side?
However Algabar got this information, I am assuming they are not the intended recipient of the message. And so I'm going to abstain because either way, it is a violation of the sacred bond between message sender and message receiver.
Okay, so you're just
goddamn, like, hackers, man.
Honeysuckle is remaining silent because you're like, this is my client messenger confidentiality.
Yeah,
that must be pretty hard to keep up in this current city that we're living in, where everything is connected. And
If it was easy, mate, everyone would be doing it.
Yeah. Okay. So the abstentions are Honeysuckle. Okay. So we're going to get to the resolution now. So whenever there's a conflict, the participants roll dice. If a participant is using their primary character, PC or a face, they select their spark die. Oh, I see. So if I am playing, so I would need to describe how.
Mazis.
Yeah. So this is going to be Mazis's declaration. Yeah, not the GM. So yeah, that's fair. And so I would be rolling Spark. For every person supporting your declaration, increase the size of your die by 1 level to a max of D20. So you step up your die. If you're portraying an NPC and one of their strengths applies, increase the die size by 1 level. If you're portraying their weakness, reduce it by 1. So my Mazis's strengths are being seductive and well-connected, and their weaknesses are being entangled. I feel like well-connected totally figures into this situation, right? Like this is why I was able to call on Algabar to do this. So I'm gonna take a bonus for that, and I'm also going to take support from 1. So that's another step. So I'm going 2 steps up. Which puts me
at D20 because
D20, yep. Because I have D12 spark, yep.
And you can't go any further up.
Yeah, I can't go any higher. Yeah, so I'm rolling a D20, and so Algabar.
I get a step up from that, so I'm not sure if it calculates automatically. I think not, considering my last roll.
And I just want to make sure you're not portraying an NPC. I want to look at bonus. Yeah, bonuses. Okay, so your bonuses, because you are not portraying an NPC. You get 1 to your die roll if you have an applicable broad talent, 2 for common, and 3 to your die roll if you have applicable deep talent. So these are plus modifiers. They are not die steps.
And here's the thing: I'm gonna go mark half truths because I'm not gonna say the entire truth. I think I'm gonna leave details out, so I'm gonna mark half truths for the bonus.
Okay.
So that gives me a +2.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna take harm and add that +3 to my roll.
Okay, so you're a total +5. And do you want to spend influence?
And I will not spend influence.
Okay, so you're rolling your die +5, and I am rolling a D20.
Right. Let me test it actually. Oh snap! Okay.
Wow.
Wow.
Natural 20.
Bruh. Let me first see if bonus. Oh wait, no, it doesn't do it automatically. So let me just do the D12 plus 5, and then bonus. And then
I'm sure there's a way to do it with your sheet, but
yeah. No. I lose that conflict. So I have evidence that Honeysuckle is guilty.
So what is that evidence?
Do you get to narrate the declaration, I think.
Sure, fine. No problem.
And then you get a point of harm as well.
Yes. I will take point. Yeah, so when Mazis takes harm, what happens?
The GM takes harm.
I take harm. And what happens when I take harm? That's an interesting thing.
You've got to take off a finger.
Oh no! Oh
It's
no!
been real.
I'm so sorry, but your character is kind of dead. Not really, but
I get it.
Not really.
Stolen power.
Okay, I'm gonna look this up.
Don't you play by the same harm rules as the rest of us?
yes,
Uh,
the GM plays us with the same harm
So
rolls as
that means
everyone.
that it would reduce my die size by 1, regardless of who I'm playing, right?
No,
Yeah.
it tops out your die
Yeah.
size, so you can no longer roll d20s. The
Oh, I can
highest
no
you
longer. Yeah, I
is
can no
D20.
longer.
Yeah,
roll
exactly.
20. Okay, so I'm gonna.
What Sid said.
Yeah.
Which means I did spend harm for a plus 3, but
Yep. So you're also marking that out.
yeah.
Okay. So I'm. No, I can't use the D20. Okay. Great.
So yeah,
So
you
yeah,
know
so I think
what
the
happens.
evidence is that let's see, there's probably another NPC I want to bring into this whole issue, or maybe a PC. Maybe we're looking
Well, Knerd's got shit to say about glitch and stuff, I think.
Nerd's always got shit to say.
That's accurate.
I think that at the time of the murder, Honeysuckle was so you say you don't make contracts, but this is why I don't like the idea that I'm deciding these details, because this would be information your character has. So I don't want to define how your character works and operates and that kind of thing.
I think
I won the conflict, so
Yeah,
I said it's true. But
I mean, it's narration, but it's still a conversation, so you can ask
Yeah.
Sid if what he thinks.
Yeah, and I think this goes to both of your characters, right? Like, how did you find the information, Algabar, and also what was the information, Honeysuckle, right?
I basically found the information by basically looking into the Collegium's details of, like, well, I would have to know a bit more about the murder itself. So I think I tried looking like stuff that was going on around that place and time.
Okay, so there's like circumstantial evidence, like
Yeah, like circumstantial evidence and like checking for alibis and stuff.
right.
And,
But the
there
thing
are
is,
none.
like, what would the alibi be when there's no written contract? So Honeysuckle, please tell us what is your actual alibi? Like what, like, so it's like, what were you actually, like, I don't understand
Join the club.
how you would describe your innocence if you don't have any evidence to back it up, right? Like, what was the basis of your claim there to have been engaged? It's just like, oh, this is just, you just have to trust me on it, and then Algabar just comes in and is like, no, I have evidence to the contrary.
Yeah, I think that's I think that there would be people with whom contracts would be like really common and done and stuff like that. But I have a feeling that Castafiel, being that kind of vampire, would not would like one, Castafiel and I had an existing relationship of trust, and two, I don't think that is the kind of relationship they want to generate. So it was like, yeah, you can just do this for me. I was like, yeah, don't worry about the contract and stuff, dog. Like, I got you. I know I can trust you. And then you're dead. So now it's a problem.
Okay, so this is probably a matter of there being witnesses.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Like, I think it would just be like, or even evidence completely to the contrary of what I was saying. Like, I think it'd be great to have something come out that like is, yeah, either like a witness statement or something that is not what Honeysuckle believes to be true, but because it's information, it has to be true.
Right. Right. So the information is immutable and true. And I think because this is a city where everything is connected, and laws are absolute. I mean, it may be just something like there is a registry of where people are at all times. You know, like this is like this information is somehow universally accessible to people.
Portals. So you would have had to travel through a portal to deliver, to pick up and to deliver, and maybe your personal signature, whether it is like handwritten or like your SIG identification number, was recorded at another portal.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like the idea of the bureaucracy tracking where everybody is at all times in this city. And so I think that would be something that Algabar would actually be able to get a hold of. And the information would say something to the effect that, so the evidence that you're guilty would be like you were at the scene of the crime at the time of the crime. So at the very least, you would have been a witness to the crime, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we cleared that up. So Algabar, please tell us this information.
Yeah, I think Algabar tells the information.
Yeah.
But still, I think he tries to find a way to not tell the entire thing. Like he would say he was there at the place and time. But that does not prove his guilt or innocence unless there were other people around. Unless there were no other people around.
Right. And okay, yeah. So, but it is information that nevertheless suggests that that Honeysuckle may be guilty. Right. It's evidence of the guilt. Okay. And so I think that Mazis will say, "Oh well, of course. I expected as much. It makes sense that you were there, the scene of the crime. Of course, because you are the criminal in question."
I think Honeysuckle like looks over at Algabar and like takes in the information, and with a bit of a blank face, just responds like, "That is a truth."
So you admit your guilt?
I admit my presence at the time.
I think it's like leaning up against the wall. Is like, well, he's certainly guilty of something. I can tell you that much.
Certainly am.
Guilt's pouring off him.
Oh, thank
Or-
you.
No, I could
No,
take
no,
that
no,
away
no.
from you if you. I could take that away from you if you come over here with me.
Okay. And I think Maziz says, well, we are at an impasse. You deny your guilt, accept your presence, and will not give us any further information.
You are not the intended recipient of that message.
Right. Okay, so and I think he says, so then, who is the intended recipient? To whom will you confess?
I will speak of this to Loki, the keeper of the names. He needs to know of Castafiel's demise so that he may remember him.
Okay. And I guess we can conveniently say that Loki enters the scene because the scene is about your guilt or innocence. So we can't end the scene until the question is answered, whether you're guilty or innocent.
I think that like this would be where I had planned to meet Loki, and so it's kind of happening all here at a similar time.
Yeah, well, everybody's
was called
connected,
in.
right?
Yeah. Or either that or he was called in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also an option.
So I think Loki enters the scene and is like probably I think Loki probably like wears like a very like heavy sort of cloak and is like maybe walks has like a blindfold over his eyes and has an assistant who guides him through the city and so enters the scene and says yep
Says yep.
okay, Lou's asking me a question and they're so okay so enters the scene and says you requested my services.
Loki, Castafiel has moved on from this world and should be I'm just trying to find the name, Aludra, and must be kept as one of Aludra's tears. I have a painting that I am to deliver for you, and I look sternly at Maziz, for you to hang and assist in your memory of Castafiel. I would be grateful if you would take this painting.
And I think Loki says, well, of course, not in the habit of looking upon those who have passed or their effects. And Maziz, or sorry, Loki takes the painting from you, or takes the painting from Maziz actually, because Maziz was holding it, and just like runs their hand down the face of the painting and just like smears all the paint down the front of it. It says, "He will be remembered." And I think Missy says, "So then, do you admit your guilt or declare your innocence? Your confessor is here."
Interesting. I wonder where we want this to go. Let me look over my beliefs. Belief games. I need to look over beliefs.
Think about your beliefs.
I. The issue is the things I don't want to drag this scene on. I want to like hit an answer for it now, but I don't want to. Oh, yeah, I know. Kubai, have like the emotional sharing thing as well, on like especially on physical contact, and so like, if I proposition Canerd, allow me to interface with the empath, and he will be able to tell you whether you should take me away in chains or leave me to my own devices.
Well, we've already seen that you were guilty of something. Nerd, you've said as much. Is there some further proof that we require?
I can share with him the details.
Very well. How about?
I think Knerd will be like, there's so many emotions flying around here. We'll step inside of the mill and to insulate us somewhat from all of the emotions going on here.
Yeah, so the two of you enter the mill. The noise is deafening, but the emotions perhaps are less so. And what do you confess?
So I think the scene is like the two of us in this mill, and there's like this real like low pass filter around the whole thing, so it's just like these really low frequency sounds, this thundering hum of the windmill churning over, and then Knerd, how do you normally relieve people of their burdens?
I think he would probably,
because that's basically what I'm asking you to do here, is to relieve.
Well, I think it's actually I don't know how is a ritual a specific thing in this game, or is that just the way that I express the spiritual act?
I think that, well, there's a thing that your ritual lets you do, but and then if you spend one influence, you can have it. You can get the effect without the negative side back that it comes with.
What is the yeah, I've got a ritual essentially that's attached to my god that allows me to remove physical, mental, or emotional pain. But I think that it's probably like through song or music or something, because it kind of suits my character.
So,
but it can probably just be singing.
How do you possibly make music in this place? Like, it is as loud as you could possibly imagine. How do you make music here?
I think we have to get really, really close.
You're just like humming in my ear.
Yeah.
Do you come from a land down under?
Yeah, so I think though I like the image of like maybe you of Honeysuckle putting her hand out to do the like the connection thing to pass on information, and then maybe Knerd just putting all 4 of his hands like over your hand, and then like coming into like sing into your ear while you're like telling him
And the
like through that connection what happened. But yeah,
and like the rhythmic rolling of this windmill is like a really like deep bass line under your singing.
And it's probably that kind of I'm imagining it being like the not exactly like the tooth and throat singing and stuff, but I think he's probably, seeing as I think he's probably got the ability to sing in the like two voices at the same time, so it's like this high harmony weathering line thing.
That's super tight. All right, so I'm gonna make a declaration.
So
and I imagine. Oh, go ahead.
Do you spend an influence? Because if you don't, it's permanent.
It's permanent. The effect on Honeysuckle is permanent.
Yeah.
Or
The numbing effect.
The effect.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to spend any influence.
Oh my god! You're
no, but you know what I was thinking of? It's
So to clarify what this means, Honeysuckle is no longer able to feel guilt. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it says I can remove. Awesome. I can remove physical, mental, or emotional pain.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of thinking that I might. Like, here's the idea, and I could remove the guilt, or I had the idea if I'm removing like the mental pain, I kind of like the idea that the memory of what actually happened is, as it passes across to me, is going to like, so like I'll know what happened, but you won't know what happened anymore.
But we must know what happened, so please tell us what the hell happened. Are you guilty or innocent?
Which would you prefer?
Actually, I think the memory would still be there, but not the emotional pain associated with it.
Well, how I'm thinking, well, that depends whether I'm removing the emotion or the mental. Like, true. That's what I like. How does grief grief's a combination of mental and emotional.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm really happy with just removing the guilt, or like I just thought that might be fun.
If somebody wants to contest it, they can contest it, right? That's how this game works.
Which would you prefer, Sid? And do you not want me to numb you forever? Because I can use my influencing.
So what if we said, I'd be interested. Man, I'm not sure which one's more interesting. Fuck it. Numb me like a Novocaine. Let's go for. I'm going to make the declaration that Knerd.
But is it forever?
Oh, I mean, I'll take it forever. I'll be. What is? Are we talking about like losing the ability to feel guilt or like complete emotional numbing? Yeah, no, guilt. I'm fine. Let's fuck that off. I'm gonna turn into a murder hobo and kill all Kyle's NPCs and feel no guilt whatsoever.
Challenge this outcome.
Yeah. Too bad I rolled a nat 20 on my murder skill. So
really? Oh wait,
Knerd, I declare that Knerd receives unequivocal proof of Honeysuckle's innocence. And someone put up the opposite so we can fuck with this.
I think I'm not.
No. If somebody wants to contest it, go ahead. But you got to tell us what the hell that proof is.
Yeah. I will.
But like, no, I love the idea of like taking out your guilt, but you're innocent, so it just makes things worse. And taking your guilt forever, I love that. So I'm not gonna contest.
Well, he feels guilty about something.
Yeah, well, you need to tell us what you feel guilty about as well.
I feel guilty because
sorry.
So this is what I'm proposing. Castafiel was dying because someone was like had poisoned the well that he was drawing power from.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel guilty because like when he was like, hey, so I'm gonna die, I need you to take this painting to Loki because it's important for him to remember me for whatever reason, like this is an important thing for me. I was like, yeah, okay, that's like my job, my self-interest. And I like squashed my own empathy of like, maybe I can help you, maybe I can, you know. I think the right thing to do would have been to like tried to have prevented the death, but what I did was I was like, yeah, okay, that works out well for me later.
Right. Okay. So your guilt is of not actually having helped Castafiel as they were dying, and just sort of saying, "Okay, got the job."
Yep. This is my duty. It's not my duty to help you. Like that's not my.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And does anybody want to contest this? Okay. Good.
Oh, all right. Fair enough.
Right.
I'll
So we have
contest it.
answered the question.
Hello.
I just like the perhaps. Is it interesting to contest it, or will we just go
super
along
interesting?
with it?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you feel the desire, then please do.
Yeah, I personally find it interesting.
Okay.
I kind of like maybe from Knerd's perspective of receiving this like this guilt, and then this story being passed along, that part of what is getting passed like is like, you know, what might have, like, thoughts from Honeysuckle about what might have been and what could have changed. And so it's this confused, guilty message, you know, like guilt's that complicated thing where you're like, what if, and that sort of thing. Like, what if I had have done this? What if I,
Yeah,
and
so
maybe
the metaphor of like, I pretty much killed him becomes the message of I actually did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm
so
also happy
perhaps,
with having just.
but perhaps this role will like show what kind of message that like Nerd actually like receives, which is more powerful. Yeah.
Okay. So Castafiel. So the declaration from Honeysuckle was that Castafiel was poisoned and hired Honeysuckle to deliver the painting to her friend here. Was it Loki? You know, after his death. Okay, so that's the declaration from Honeysuckle. What is the counter declaration from Knerd?
Honeysuckle poisoned Castafiel.
Okay.
That's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Because I'm super happy with that being the truth as well.
Okay, so yeah, that's good. I think that so everybody's got to think about support or abstention, right? And
I think I will support innocence and use my NPC-ish connections. Like if Castafiel was poisoned by Honeysuckle, the collision would have information of Honeysuckle purchasing a poison.
Okay. So supporting Algabar, Algabar is supporting with the idea that like there's no record of purchasing the poison. Okay. And anyone else want to support a side?
I guess I'll support the murdering side, seeing as I brought it up.
No, you don't have to. You already declared. You don't have to make a choice of support. This would just be me and Ellen.
I kind of like the picture of them emerging from the like the windmill as well, and like go into like just about to talk, and then that's when like
that's
you
when
know you get the time dilation thing.
Right. So I think oh man. I think my characters are abstaining from this. I don't think they have privileged information about this situation. Yeah.
It
Ellen,
could also be the environment.
right. It could also be the environment giving something away. But I kind of want to sit this one out. I don't think I support it one way or the other. So how are you going to vote there?
I'm going to abstain because Helen is confused and feels like she doesn't know or trust Honeysuckle as well as she thought she did.
Okay, fair. All right, so abstentions are so that would be Mazis, Loki, and Lon. Okay, so let's see how the dice go. So you're going to roll with your spark.
So I'm rolling spark. I'm upping one for
my
support.
Yeah, for my support.
Cool. And can I add one for connection?
Sure. Well, sorry, that's the GM.
Not the GM. So,
sorry.
Please explain to me why. Like, what's is this because? So this is because you were connected and therefore you got this job? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think it's like emotional connection. Like it's my ability to pass on my own experiences to someone else through our emotional connection.
Okay, and how do you think that's connected to the delivery job?
I thought it was more that it's affecting what Knerd comes out and says right now.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like it's focusing more on the moment of the conflict rather than the stuff that had previous.
This is a matter of fact, right? It's not.
Yeah, no, I'm happy that I.
Yeah. So I don't know if I'm feeling that entirely.
Oh, that's cool.
I think if the declaration was whether the connection happens correctly or not, it would have been fine.
I don't like that though, because then we're going to get into an even longer scene about resolving. Because there's the thing is like we have to play to the question, right? We have to play to answer the question of the scene. So I'm trying to push it towards like what is the fact of the matter, right? So yeah.
So is there an easy way to do this than just setting my spark one die higher, or like do I?
You wouldn't go one die higher. You get a +1. So it's
no, not, it's a die higher.
I thought I got +1 die for.
Oh, for your skill. Yeah, right. For your skill. Yeah, right. And then you get the modifiers on top of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I don't know. I don't know how the character sheet works. So we have to experiment with it and see what happens.
You have to click the die higher for. Yeah.
I did a thing and I got a 5. Okay. Come at me.
You don't want any modifiers? Just gonna go with it?
No, because I'm pretty sure. It was just my. Oh, there are modifiers other than my skills. Fucking dope.
Yeah, you can pump that up a little bit if you want.
Add 3 for each harm they choose to suffer, and add 1 for each point of influence. No, I'm happy. I'm happy to roll with this one.
Okay.
Yep.
Knerd.
I got you, Knerd.
How you feeling this?
I was I'm just gonna roll my straight spark or smoke. What do I roll? Doesn't matter. Well, they're both the same.
You roll
anyway.
your spark.
You have to roll your spark. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is your character.
Okay. Ooh, 6. A 6.
Okay. All right.
You're going to jail.
So it is in fact true that that Honeysuckle poisoned Castafiel.
But why?
Well, that's not the question of this scene. So how is this like pronounced to everybody? What does Knerd say to everybody?
I think Knerd probably takes this as an opportunity to perform in front of a large and captured crowd. Mm-hmm. So he ad-libs. He's going to deliver. This is probably something that they do on FNUD, like they deliver messages of guilt and innocence, like through song. Yeah. But I think so. He starts playing this bowed like instrument, and I think you get like the there's a wave of. I think he imparts the guilt, like the feeling of like guilt and stuff, like over the people listening while he's playing. And then I think it's actually just like a spoken word kind of thing over the top of the music where he recounts the Honeysuckle feels none of it. Nope, just a song. Like I think just recounts the act that he saw, I guess, the poison going into the glass, and I guess that Honeysuckle chose to freely share this with Knerd as well.
Yes. Yeah. And Mazis just sort of smiles and says, well, this was a very long roundabout way to get to the truth, but at least we've arrived at the matter at hand. And I think we'll wrap the scene there because we've answered the question. So let's go through and evaluate the results of the scene, and then we'll take our break. So we are going to do this. The closing phase. Examine each belief with an influence token and determine if it's been confronted, confirmed, or refuted. Did we miss something about assigning influence tokens?
No, it's basically
these are the highlighted ones, right?
No, it's when you at the beginning you assign you put an influence token on your beliefs, and then you take the tokens, and then when you take from all of them, you refill them. So you don't have to. So you don't go on the same belief all the time.
Got you. So you start with the beliefs with influence tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so everybody's beliefs has influence tokens at the moment because we're just starting out. All right, let's talk about these. So we'll start with the setting beliefs. So every message is sacred. I think we hit that. Definitely, right? We also
make sure you put some sort of marker that you pick that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will. I'll mark. Okay. So I get an influence for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Influence. It's currently at. Do I also start with 3? So I'm up to 4 now.
I think so.
Yeah. I think that's right. Laws are absolute. Do we feel that? How are we feeling there? I didn't personally.
I think it was like mentioned, but I didn't feel we hit it.
Yeah, I don't think so
because we didn't challenge it.
Yeah, this might come up in the sentencing, right? Everybody's connected. I think we hit that for sure. So 5. And now let's get to your character beliefs. So Honeysuckle, all relationships are built on self-interest. Do you think you hit that?
Okay. I don't have a button or anything to push it, so I just have one influence, and then just remember that one, I guess.
Right.
And gain 1 influence right away.
And you feel that was hit. We got that.
Is that? Did you? I thought you. I didn't. Sorry, I didn't realize you were asking. I thought.
No, I was asking.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably want to hit it harder. But yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like not so much on that one. The next one, truth is objective, information is immutable. I think we definitely hit that.
Yeah.
And the faith is fading. Eludra's tears will melt. Well, we brought Eludra into the situation, but you didn't demonstrate your belief about her dying yet.
I've got to set her up, mate. Got to set her up before I start killing her.
Yeah, absolutely. Set them up, knock them down. That's what you do with gods. All right, and Algabar, true love is a trick of the mind.
None of them. Let's make this quick. Just none of them.
Information is the well, I think again that's set up, right?
Yeah, it's set up.
Yeah, it's set up. Well, I kind of feel like we did hit that because that was like Mazis going like, well, no, we've got this information, so I'm going to press my case, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
if you want to give me the...
Yeah, I think we did hit that.
If you want to give me influence, then sure.
Yeah. Because I don't think it's like these beliefs are supposed to be like, did we hit them more than like, did this character in particular do the thing, right?
Okay.
I think that's how it works. I'll review it over the break, but for now, I'm good with giving you that. All hopes and dreams are self-interested, not so much. Knerd, everyone has good inside of them. Do you think you hit that?
No.
I don't think so. No, not at all.
I reckon
you're saying guilty.
Oh, you may have refuted it, so that kind of might be hitting it.
Yes, good point.
I'm not saying that like there still isn't good inside of Honeysuckle though, just because they did a bad thing.
Yeah, but I still think that was refuted, in a sense, right? Like I still think that that we hit that belief.
Okay.
Yeah. And all conflicts can be resolved through influence of the arts. I think you hit that, right? Mm-hmm. You resolve the conflict. All pain must be quenched. I think you hit that as well. So you get 3 influence.
Power game, Elu.
Yeah. Okay. Talon, family is a fire that needs to be quenched. I don't think we had any family issues come up.
No.
Art has its place regardless of price. I think you did try to bring that up.
Yeah, but it wasn't necessarily clear.
It wasn't too clear. Yeah, so maybe not quite yet. And loss is beautiful and makes us strong.
What about the painting being in the being an important part of the? I was kind of thinking that that painting was passed on, or was an important part of the entire murder mystery. That could have hit that. I think.
I think that's where we brought it up. So are we feeling like that was confronted? It says. If it's been confronted, confirmed, or refuted. So I don't think this is necessarily a character thing. It could just be if it came up in the scene. So do like I kind of do feel like we actually hit that, right, in terms of like it was important that this be delivered. But
and we don't quite know what the real story is, but
yeah,
the piece
like
of art was and
it may
also
have
the
even
piece
been
of art
refuted.
being like
I'm not
messed
sure,
with,
right?
the piece of art being messed with as well was kind of refuting it a little bit as well when the person like ran their hand over the thing.
I'd rather err on the side of rewarding when we incorporate things from each other's beliefs, because I'd rather we encourage that than make it about players hitting their own stuff.
Yeah, I think that works. So I think that it was either confirmed or refuted, but we don't really know which one it was yet, right? Like, because the thing was, there was this whole story about Honeysuckle having to deliver the thing, but that may have been a lie because Honeysuckle murdered the sender. So we'll see.
Who knows?
You get an influence anyway there. Yeah. So and if all three of someone's so you mark the ones that you've cleared, so that would be Knurd. You have cleared 3. Give everyone else 1 influence and refill that portion of the belief sheet. So everybody gets an influence, except for Knurd. And so that includes me. I get 1.
Wait, if a board has been cleared. Oh, cool.
Yeah, so Knurd cleared their board in one scene. So
Okay.
that means that everybody else gets 1 influence.
I think I missed that when I played. So yay, more influence.
Yeah, and then you get to put a token back on each of your beliefs there, Knurd, so you can hit them again. And anyone can spend 3 influence to trigger an interlude between scenes, a one-on-one scene where they ask someone else a question. When that question is answered, both individuals remove 1 harm. So that is an option. You can think about doing it after the break, but we're going to take a break now. So yeah, keep it in mind.
Do you prefer if I stay without video?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I mean, I'm fine either way. I just don't know if you want to see me eating.
Yeah, I don't think there's any need for us to see you eating. You can just, eat in peace and tranquility. Don't feel
Yeah, that's
stressed.
true.
So I want to check the intermediate scenes here. Interludes.
I think only Lou. Well, Lou, you, and
Mhm.
I have taken damage. So I might want to trigger one with Lou. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if he wants to do that.
We'll see.
Because he has more influence, but
Yeah, and there's no limit on how many interludes there can be in between scenes. So we can have more than one. It's just limited by the amount of influence we have, not by the phase of play.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I see how this works.
Kyle, we're playing Sig.
We are playing Sig, yeah.
And Lou has the best hat in the world. Two good things to happen on the same day.
We were just talking about the hat before you showed up.
Yeah.
It's a very, very fancy hat.
It is.
It's hundreds of dollars worth of this hat. I was telling Kyle just because the women that made it actually got paid properly to make it. So,
oh, that's nice.
Yeah. It takes 2 weeks to make one of these.
That's serious. Yeah.
Cool. How long does it take to make it look good? I'm sorry, that was mean, and I didn't mean it. You look excellent.
It's okay. It's one of your many flaws to make mean jokes. We're working on you.
I'll say something nice. Lou, you look like my favorite golfer.
These hats feel so comfortable. They're not meant to look that good. They're just meant to feel amazing. It just feels like it's made out of air.
It does look really good.
Yeah. You're just jealous, aren't you?
No, yeah, absolutely. I wish I looked good in hats. I never look good in hats.
I don't look good at hats either.
I'm just going to check Ellen didn't fall asleep because she went and lay down on the bed in the break.
Oh. I mean, I'm playing on my bed today, but yeah, I could have totally had a nap.
As could I. I only got 4 hours of sleep last night because I was prepping this game.
Yeah. It's a really interesting game because Maria coming out of the gates was really strong, really, really helpful to get it moving. But I was second on the thing and coming up with a place, and I don't know, it doesn't. It's difficult to have a starting situation.
Yes.
Hello.
Probably where it's coming from.
I can hear you, Maria. Yeah.
Hey, Maria.
Sorry, it's just I have to change my. I think the microphone stopped working. So do I sound okay?
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah, it's the sound quality is not quite as good, but
I was using this the snowball, but so the quality would be better on the snowball, but for some reason it stopped picking it up. So what I was gonna say is I will put the food in the fridge.
Oh,
So I'll
okay.
be right back.
No worries. No worries. Yeah, so I think this is again a game where the players knowing the game and knowing the setting benefit a lot.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a lot like Blades in that sense. It's like it's hard to start the game because it is a collaborative game, right? Like the responsibility is much more on the player side than the GM side compared to many other games, and also there's a lot of setting information to take in, and so I think those two things combine to make kind of slow starts.
And I think. I think like Blade's random score generation, and like you and I were talking about having like an initial situation to push on the players, both change that a little bit, which this doesn't have. But I kind of randomed it myself, where I rolled a die and then went to the locations and was like, "Oh yep, Brass Tether. That's where we're going today."
That's totally fair. Yeah.
And it was pretty much just, I didn't know the setting that well.
Right.
Does the sound better now?
Yep, it does.
Yep.
Okay, good. Because it was unplugged. That's what happened.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna suggest that we thought Ellen's wanted.
Like I thought it was plugged in. Like the light was on. The light was on, but it's kind of stopped working a bit. So I guess it wasn't plugged all the way through.
Yeah. Okay.
But whatever.
I'm glad that it's all sorted out now.
Good. Because I don't want to have shitty sound quality either.
Yeah, it's not good for anybody. Okay, well, I'm going to explain how interludes work because they're a little tricky. Oh, first thing I want to note, the rules we were going for assigning influence were incorrect. You only get influence if it's a direct connection to your character. It's not if it's in the scene. It says each of the players can claim influence when they confront their beliefs, and you declare if you think you have directly confronted, confirmed, or refuted one of your beliefs. So it is only if it is directly affecting your character. So this is trying to drive more aggressive play, right? So we'll see how it works, but that's the rule. The second thing is talking about interludes. So interludes are a little bit different from the rest of the scenes in the game because they're not very strongly centered on the character, or at least the character the player who's asking. It says during the closing phase, you may spend 3 influence to trigger an interlude. These are small moments of calm and introspection in contrast to the high stakes of conflict-driven scenes. The person who triggers an interlude gets to ask a question to someone else at the table. They can ask a player about their character's history, motivation, or dreams. They could instead choose to ask the GM about the setting, exploring the history and politics of SIG. The question can be made in character or as an outside observer. The other person needs to answer the question honestly through dialogue, actions, or by narrating a flashback. These questions are great ways of establishing new facts about the story and exploring the characters within. At the end of the interlude, remove 1 harm from the sheet of each person participating in the interlude. So the questioned, the person who must respond to the question, does have to portray their character, but the questioner does not have to directly have their character in the scene. They can just set up a question.
I actually had a question about this based on the last scene, and it might be a good time to ask it, which is I picked the build with like really high smoke, which is like a lot of, play at the world, play at NPCs. Yeah. maybe when we get to the next what's called frame scene, conflict scene, whatever, we can talk about like how I might be able to do that.
To play your smoke, yeah.
I
totally.
think that idea, but I don't know how to do it at the moment. Yeah.
Yes. I like the idea of getting into that more, because I've been going off of the GM handout, and I think that was a mistake, because there's not enough information there. So I'm going to go off the text from now on, and we'll have a little bit more detail about how everybody's supposed to set things up. Yeah. So cool. So who wants to do an interlude? Some of you have enough influence to do it. I have enough influence to do it.
Yeah, I've got one in mind.
Technically, everyone has.
Does everybody have 3 influence? I mean, yeah, you
start
should.
out with
You start
three,
out with 3 and nobody's spent any
yeah.
yet. So yeah, anybody can do one. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one. I'd like to. I've just got a tiny little bit of scene setting. Then I'm gonna ask Talon the crafty question. I'm just picturing Nerd sitting in Talon's like studio, I guess, like pottery studio, like on a chair or something, while she's working, and I think they're chatting, and I think he'll ask the question like tell me about like when you first arrived in SIG. Have you lived in? I guess tell me about your younger self in SIG. Is that a background? Is that a strong enough question?
I don't think so. You're gonna want to ask something a little bit more specific.
Yeah. Well, I just don't know about. Can I ask quickly? Have you always been in SIG?
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do we play that now?
Yes. So so Knerd. This is Knerd directly asking the question, right? You're in a scene together, is what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So play it out.
I'm happy just to see a little bit of narration. Like, I'm just curious to see what you'll say. It doesn't have to be a big conversation or anything.
Yeah. Look, my mother came here as a fireheart, and my father has always worked in this market, and that's where they met. And so I'm destined to play out this street.
Cool. I'm happy with that. I just wanted a bit of like interesting one-liner flavor from Talon. That's cool.
Well, does Knerd have any reaction to that? I mean, 'cause we can get a little bit more into the moment of quiet reflection and intimacy and such.
Yeah. Okay. He's smoking a cigarette, looking into the kiln, while I think of what he's about to say. I guess like do you feel the need to follow along in that? Do you feel trapped inside of it, or would you like to do something else? Are you happy here?
I feel like I am bound to my parents, and I feel like I don't have a choice about where I can be. I do feel such a strong calling to the clay and to the magic that I weave in the particles. Why do you sing? Why would you have that instrument with you. Like, it's who you are. It's where you're from. How did you lose the shackles of your heritage?
It was kind of an accident, really. I was just a regular nude until one day I was just young and I was wandering, and I kind of just literally fell into Sig. I don't really know how to get back now. But I'm not. You're right. I'm not really very different to my parents or where I've come from.
Cool. And I think we'll maybe end the scene there. And I think we'll just call it like you both got to ask a question. So maybe both of you spend 3 influence and you clear 2 harm. Yeah, because it felt like that was just sort of like a natural progression from one interlude to another interlude. Like, let's make this about Canard now. Okay. So go ahead. Yeah, Maria, do you have one that you would like to do?
I want to know what Mazis thinks of Algebar.
Okay. Yeah, so I think what does I just think of Algebar? So your when you talked about your relationship with Mazis, you said it was kind of bad, like right? Like
it was kind of bad.
Yeah. So like you there's a certain sense of betrayal that you had about the way that Mazis conceived you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so I think we get a scene of Mazis in the form we saw in the previous scene. They're maybe in a kind of like a terraced cafe, I imagine, right? Like under a umbrella, and they're talking to a friend of theirs, and they say, well, you see, you might wonder why I go around having so many progeny. The truth is that they're enormously useful. Even if they might have strong feelings about me sort of siring them and then heading off to some other body and some other relationship, there's still a parental or a filial connection between me and them. And they will make themselves useful to me. So I suppose you are not in a singular, but perhaps you should consider having children as well. And takes a sip of his like weird planar tea, you know.
Oh my god, everyone's a fucking asshole in this. Okay, cool. I'm satisfied. I think we both get 1 less harm.
Yes, I think we both get 1 less harm. Although the feels are
I know, right?
There's the harm in your heart and there's the harm on the sheet.
I know, right?
Okay, so let's I'm gonna mark that. So I do not have my D20 marked off anymore. Okay. Any other interludes we'd like to see?
No, I really liked those. They were good.
All right, nice.
I like learning about y'all.
Yeah, it's the quiet seeds. We confess our terrible natures. So now that we have completed the interludes, we can continue on to framing the next actual scene. So we're going to do the rolls that we did last time, as before. Everybody's going to roll their smoke.
I feel like I should have swapped my stats the other way because I keep rolling shit, or I keep getting bad results with Spark. But I'm owning I'm owning my smoke rolls. Well, then again, it's only a D6, so
Yeah.
there's not many options.
True.
Nerd plus. I am so sad. Oh God. Well, we rerolled dice, so.
Oh, we get to re-roll if it's a tie.
I still have to roll my 8. It's D8. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure if it's reroll between the two of you or reroll the whole thing.
I wouldn't
I don't
bother
know.
because we're
Yeah, you're not on the
Sorry.
you're not on the menu
Yeah.
here.
we're not on the menu. We're not getting poutine.
Yeah, that's right. So Talon, you have your choice. Do you want the question? Do you want the
I want the platform.
You want the platform? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So, what is the platform?
Ooh. Who?
Where is this happening, and when is it happening?
It's happening in Whispering Sands.
Mm-hmm.
And it is happening a few months before the death of Castafiel.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
Is it the tilt that says who's there, or
no, we get to choose that afterwards.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Where and when. So yeah. So we have the where and we have the when. So that's
Okay.
good. So the next highest was Maria. So which of the two would you like to pick? The tilt or the question?
Here's my question before I do that. What is in the Whispering Sands? Like,
Sure.
what's that place?
Yeah, okay.
Like, I can read it up, but I'm too lazy to.
I can read it out. So
please do.
A lush oasis at the center of a lethal desert. Few seekers ever reach the oasis, and those who do believe it to be a mirage. The oasis hides from prying eyes. Desire brings absence. Water is a precious illusion.
So this is a prime that this is a prime world. It's not in SIG. That's the important thing to have in mind there.
Okay, I want to ask the question: why did Honeysuckle accept Algebar's request to kill Castafiel?
Okay. Very good. So, okay, I have to write these down. All right. So scene 2.
And I am so sorry not sorry for involving Honeysuckle so much. I'm so, like, sorry, not sorry.
So the platform is the Whispering Sands, and it was it a month before the murder? Did you say there? Oh,
let's say 2 months.
2 months. Okay. Okay, 2 months before the murder. The tilt, or another question. Why did Honeysuckle accept Algebar's request to kill Castafiel? And the tilt is me. So this is the inciting situation. I'm gonna look for some details here on what exactly I should be aiming for. 2 or 3 sentences to describe what event or action forces PCs to interact with the scene. You guide the types of actions encouraged in the scene. You can promote situations that will challenge multiple beliefs or make a situation that is appropriate for a specific character's beliefs. Regardless, the tilt must be logical and consistent with the platform. Okay, so example, a small child runs out of a doorway sobbing loudly and clutching a stuffed dragon toy. Okay. So I think I'm going to look at your beliefs here. So I think so I'll say parched and hungry, honeysuckle and algabar see an oasis in the distance is the tilt. So all right, and now we're going to continue on to do the actual staging of the or not the staging of the platform. So ask the group if any of the PCs won't be present in the scene. Those players may claim one of the GM's characters to temporarily control using their smoke attribute. If you would like to sit out of the scene entirely, you may choose instead to remove one harm from your sheet. Okay, so that's the rule. So that's how you can play an NPC. So that would be one of the GM's characters. I can still play, other random NPCs that might just show up, like, oh, it's a monster shows up, whatever. But they're not like face characters. So does anybody want to sit the scene out, or does anybody want to play one of the NPCs?
Yeah, no, it's not here.
Okay. Are you sitting it out entirely, or what do you think?
Yeah, I got to do a lot last time. Yeah, I think I might just sit it out.
Okay.
Can I play Tamur?
Yes.
I know that he is Sid's father, so I just wanted to not step on toes.
Yeah, no, you totally can.
Can I suggest the purpose for coming out to the desert?
No.
Good. I didn't want to anyway.
You can't say like why they came, right? Because it's not your character. But you can absolutely play Tamur at any point in the scene and suggest, why that might have happened. You can play your character, right? Yeah, because it's kind of like we figure it out when we start the scene, not before the scene. What's going on? And I will choose to. I think I'm gonna just not play a face character. I want to like maybe do some setting stuff, talk about some other things that might show up in the scene, but I don't want to be playing an NPC in here because I think I got enough screen time last time as well. Yeah. So again, the platform is the Whispering Sands 2 months before the murder. Question is, why did Honeysuckle accept Algabar's request to kill Castafiel? And the tilt is, parched and hungry, Honeysuckle and Algabar see an oasis in the distance. And we have probably Tomer showing up at some point in this scene. So that, yes. And oh, I should also mention the Whispering Sands. So the beliefs, the setting beliefs that we had set up for SIG, they don't apply here. There's different beliefs that apply. So these are the things I have to try to hit. The oasis hides from prying eyes. Desire brings absence. And water is a precious illusion. Okay. So please have at it.
All right. So I think we see the oasis and Algabar immediately runs for it. Like not even waiting for Honeysuckle.
Worst boy.
Worst boy. and and you can contest this, but I think he gets there first.
No, please do.
Okay, and
I want to contest this because
okay.
I think the oasis is an illusion.
All right, cool.
Contest.
Okay.
Right.
So I am not playing a face character, so this is going to be a little bit different for me this time.
Right.
I think I'm rolling with my smoke, right? I believe this is how this works.
Yeah, it's smoke.
Yeah.
If you're not playing a face character.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to support you or me?
Right. Okay. So the questions or the declarations are declaration from Algabar is Algabar reaches the oasis first. And my declaration, I guess the GM.
It says there is no oasis.
The oasis is an illusion. Therefore, it is impossible. Okay, who wants to support one or the other?
I'm going to support the number one worst boy.
I will use my supporting worst boy. That's good. Who wants to support worst boy or the GM?
I want to support worst boy.
I'm on team worst boy.
Okay, so
also I'm rolling at a d20. I am going to check off light because it's a trick of the light. So prediction, if that makes sense. Like I can probably predict if this is the real deal or not.
Yeah, I agree.
And I want to save ley line usage for later, so I won't mark that yet.
Okay.
Even though I could technically mark it to. Oh, fuck it! I'll mark it to detect if this is an actual water source by checking the ley lines. So
okay. Yeah, that's I can totally see that helping out as well. That sounds absolutely reasonable to me.
Boy, okay, you have to beat a 10.
Okay. So I have a 8 and smoke. So therefore it's impossible for me to do that, I believe. Unless there's some further rule that would allow me to do it.
You can take harm.
Yeah, I could take harm.
I think we were supposed to do that at the same time, like roll at the same time.
Yes,
so
we were. We kind of skipped over the whole thing.
Sorry.
Okay. I can spend influence and I can take harm.
Yes.
Yeah. So I will. I'm sitting on a lot of influence here. I'm going to spend an influence to get +1. and I will also suffer harm to get +3. So I'm at +4, d8 +4. And I want to read the helping rules.
Helping is just step up, right?
Yeah, no, but I want to know what the conditions are for being able to help, because that's what I'm kind of struggling with
I
here.
think if there's a home plane advantage, each plane has a. Oh no, that's only planes. That's not primes.
Well, I think that would still count, right?
No, it's like anyone who supports a planet relieving conflict on that plane will always roll a d20. But I think that's only planes because it says each plane has a single overriding belief. So I think it only counts for
gotcha.
planes.
Right, and primes don't have that; they have 3 beliefs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay.
I mean,
And
getting a 10 on a d8 +4, that's not that bad.
uh-huh. Yeah, I really am. I'm not super happy with the way this wording is written here. Like it's very vague to me, because it says others at the table may choose to support one of the 2 declarations if they like. If they support a side, they need to describe how their assistance helps achieve that side's outcome.
Oh, okay, then we can redo that whole scene.
But it's like, does this have to be in character? Like, I don't know. So
I think it has to be like either in character or environmental, or something environmental that they can control.
Right.
So if you want me to re-roll, then that's fine. With
well, I mean, I feel that. So in the case of Lou, you're just playing the environment, right? Because you're sitting out the scene.
Yeah.
Or I mean, but then again,
well,
I also have a question: are you allowed to help if you are sitting out the scene?
Because I think not.
I reckon. Yeah. I kind of think it would be sad if you couldn't know, because helping and contesting and that stuff is how you're still involved in the game when your character's not in it. Or maybe you're like, you can't help, but you can still do contesting and that sort of stuff.
But then the bonus is that you get to heal harm.
Yeah,
I think that's why
I didn't care about that. I didn't have any harm.
I mean, true.
Yeah, so I feel like pretty lost here in terms of what the rules are asking me to do. So I think I would say that I on the part of your character, Ellen, I want to see like how your character helps Algabar get to the Oasis if you're going to help. I think that's pretty clear.
So Toma.
Mm-hmm.
Toma is actually at the Oasis harvesting some rare fungus.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like that. It's like, yeah, desert fungus. It's like that is very interesting. Yeah.
So I think he hears the sand moving and heavy breathing and stands up out of some bushes, like, oh, hello. Come, find some shade.
Okay. And so I think Maria, you can take a helping bonus from one character and then reroll.
Okay.
Because I think that's my read of the rules.
Yeah. And then we'll roll at the same time, so we don't know what the other is rolling.
Yes. So I am still rolling. I said what I was going to roll, so I'm still rolling with the +4.
I'm going to roll with +6, like I established.
Yeah. Okay. So rolling 1d8 +4. I can't match that.
Yeah, no. I rolled
Yeah.
shitty last time, but now I rolled well. Okay.
Okay. So so you make it to the oasis and you find Tomer there. Yeah. And you clearly beat Honeysuckle to the punch.
Yeah, I think what I'm gonna do is another declaration. I want to, or I think I want to fill up my canteen, but we manipulate the ley lines so that uh so that the oasis starts shifting and basically dissipating.
So you want to dry up the oasis?
Yes.
Okay.
But first fill out my canteen.
Right.
So I have water, but the rest don't.
Uh-huh.
Does anyone want to
Do
contest that?
either of you want to contest this?
Yes, I want to contest it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
This is a fed from an underground spring, so no matter how much you manipulate the ley line, the hydrology of the site.
Okay.
I love how little kids playing this is now. Like, I shot you. No, you didn't shoot me. I totally rolled on the ground before you could shoot me.
And then we roll to find out who actually got shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
I'm going to. Can I mark off ley line usage because that's what I'm still using?
Uh-huh.
I think that's the only one that matches so far.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think I will mark a damage to get an extra 3. So I will roll with D10 plus 3. Ellen, what are your
You can play to Tomer's strengths or weaknesses. These methodical or mycologist or botanist.
Yeah, well, he's methodical and he's a mycologist. Like, he knows this site well. He's come all the way to the Oasis Sands to research about the site.
And like, it's interesting because of the underground spring or something like that.
Yeah. Is that one?
That's
you take
no, increase in die, I think it is.
Yeah, I think that's right. So your smoke, yes, your smoke would go up by 1 die step.
So it would become a D12.
And would help. Does anyone?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about help. So the declaration on the part of Tomer is that the well or the the oasis will not dry up because it is fed by a powerful underground. And okay, so supporting. Who wants to support Algabar? Who wants to support Worst Boy?
I'm gonna change the
Algabar.
I'm gonna change describe us as Worst Boy.
Worst Boy. I'm going to abstain just because I don't think there's a fictional way that I can interact with this that feels good to me.
Right. So yeah, it would kind of only be me. I would be the only one who could do it one way or the other, right? So let me look at my beliefs. Yeah, so I'm definitely going to support Worst Boy.
Really?
So yeah, the GM is supporting Algabar, and the reason I'm doing that is because, you know, essentially there are no deep wells in the Whispering sands. It's all an illusion, right? Water's an illusion.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah. So Algabar, you get that bonus from my help.
All right. Do you want to get more spend influence or take harm or use any of your talents to support that? Oh wait, you can't spend talents, and
Yeah.
Can you spend harm as an NPC? I think you can.
I think you can. Yeah, I think you can.
It's just Ellen would still mark the harm because she's using smoke.
Yes,
She's the one smoke.
That is right. Ellen would mark the harm.
All right.
So, can I use harm?
Yes.
Is that what that is? Yeah.
Yes, you can spend 1 harm to get a +3.
Oh wait, I already took a harm before then. All right,
Yeah.
I will.
Want to take more?
I think I will not get the harm bonus, so I can roll a d12.
Okay.
Or actually, sure, I'll take the extra. So I'll roll a d10.
Okay, so you're rolling d10 plus what? 4 or 3?
Plus 3. Plus 6 because I have leyline usage as well.
Okay, gotcha. And Ellen, you're rolling. What's your smoke?
Well, it's D12 plus 3. Yep. What does influence do?
You can spend 1 influence to get an additional +1.
And can you spend for each point of influence, so you can spend multiple points of influence.
Oh, can you?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that wasn't clear in the text I was reading, so thank you.
All right, I'm gonna spend 1 point. Oh, yeah. What? 1 point.
Oh, +1 per point. Yes, so you can spend as many as you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm. So what's your die total?
So D12 plus 4.
Okay.
I
Let's
will
see these
let's
dice.
And
you took into account my help, right? You took into account my help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because I was D10 after. Oh no, not.
It goes to
Algar. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
No, it didn't. It like I took harm instead.
Of getting my help?
No, because I was gonna the thing is what I did is I already had harm from before from winning that confrontation with running here.
Mm-hmm.
So if I take an additional harm, then I would not be able to roll d12. I would have to roll d10.
Yes.
Hence what? All right.
Gotcha. So my help was irrelevant, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
And I win.
Yay, worst boy wins.
Kyle,
Worst
you are
boy.
irrelevant.
Yeah, I was irrelevant to that situation.
Yes.
Okay, well, so it's like what Alga like describe how Algabar just is like, nah, fuck y'all, I'm gonna take the water and dry this place up.
Yeah, he dries the place up, and then basically taps on the ley line and makes it and basically go underground. It makes the water go underground, like the mycologist was saying.
Yeah, so it's like whatever's left is just sucked into the earth.
Yes.
Yeah, cool.
And I think that's when Honeysuckle gets there.
Mm-hmm. So Honeysuckle, how are you feeling?
Feeling pretty damn thirsty, Kyle. Thanks for asking. feeling pretty fucked. I think
I take a drink from the canteen.
Yeah, that's cool. And Honeysuckle looks at you and acknowledges the fact that you've pretty much looked after yourself and no one else, and is unsurprised. And with a half shrug,
yes,
turns and meets the face of her father, of Timur.
Mm-hmm.
She says, I think she just produces a small capsule or it'd be like a slide pack or something like that, like little science microscopic slides thing for Tomo to like capture some of these spores or something.
Oh,
like,
my specimen slides. Thank you very much.
Like produces that and hands it to you. And I think because one of the things about Tomo is that he's the cubby, the cubi.
The cubby.
He's the cubby version, or the cubby half of Honeysuckle's life, right? So like what I'm interested in is like what emotions transfer between them when they touch.
Thirst.
Tomo is radiating mild appreciation.
Mild appreciation and does not care that the oasis was dried up before Honeysuckle got there.
That's so great. So
there's also the underlying like sadness that the spring is the oasis is drying up because of the fungus.
I love the fact that like your daughter treks out into the middle of the Whispering Sands for you, bringing you like your sciencey shit, and you're like, I have mild appreciation.
Mild appreciation, and these fungus are dying now, so I will be sad for the fungi.
I better collect the samples before the dehydration destroys them.
I take another sip of my water canteen.
I'm gonna. I reckon that when the two of us touch, some of Honeysuckle's like, what would she feel for Tomo? No, I think it's like that deep like desperation for parental pride is gonna like pass over to you. And it's going to be real clear that she wants you to like express pride, and I think that's like the declaration I'm making that I'm expecting you to come back on. But like when that hits Tomo, like you are overcome by that, and you want to like express that pride and like be grateful to your daughter who loves you and who did things for you.
Mild appreciation.
Oh, so you're contesting that statement?
Yeah, you can't tell Tomo how Tomo's gonna feel.
I guess we have another contest to decide whether he feels appreciation or not.
Does your daddy love you?
Yeah, I mean, it would be. I feel like the way this ought to go is that, you know, Ella, you can say Tomer does not feel this, and then it would be Sid,
it's my Honeysuckle
would contest. Sure. Yeah,
I'm contesting mild appreciation with overwhelming pride.
Okay,
maybe not overwhelming, expressed pride. Gratitude.
What's your charisma modifier?
-2. In another scene, I get arrested for murder, so you know, step 2.
How can your dad love you?
This was before the murder, though.
Well, Ellen, that was rather bleedy. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Oh, Sid, I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. He loves me.
Yeah, of course he does.
Real proud.
I'm sorry.
Even though he never says it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this okay? Do you want us to?
No. Don't want to play your stupid game. What am I rolling? I'm rolling Spark. Who wants to be on my side?
Worst boy will be on what's her Tomer's side.
I mean,
because you're too thirsty to like, because I think you're too thirsty to pass that correctly, so you're gonna past I'm thirsty, I'm thirsty, I'm thirsty.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna support Tomer.
Yeah,
Worst
well,
boy.
I have a belief desire brings absence, so I'm definitely supporting Tomer here.
Kyle,
'Cause-
stop being the worst for like 35 seconds.
this,
man.
this
no,
is
I am worst boy.
this is 100% put on Ellen for choosing this location because I'm just playing the setting beliefs, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Your
man.
worstness is motivated, Kyle.
Kyle and Walgav are worst boys.
Yeah, right. Okay, so this is I support for Tomer will be Algabar and GM, and this is Tomer's declaration that the so what Honeysuckle feels only mild appreciation from her father. Okay. So you got 2 helping there, Tomer.
I want to use my weakness of monotonous. So I think that Toma doesn't have the big roller coaster of emotions. So I think that, mild appreciation is, as good as he's going to give.
Okay, so if you're using the weakness, that means then that
It goes down, not goes up.
Yeah, it goes down 1. Yeah. So you would go up 2 and then down 1, right? So it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you go up 1 as a total.
So in that case, it wouldn't make much sense because the monotonous is not helping support. It's yeah, that makes
no,
sense.
I mean, it's
No,
totally
it makes
helping.
sense.
It's totally helping Tomer.
It's helping. It's not helping Tomer. It's
helping the argument.
Right. Yeah. Okay, agreed. So I guess the relevant thing here is then. So I need to find out how to adjudicate this. So there's the sides. That's weird. Yeah, so I'm just gonna roll that is not relevant, right? Like it would be, well, yeah, because it's like you're portraying the weakness, but the weakness be working towards your goal. So then that would not actually be a weakness mechanically. So I'm just gonna say that you get the bonus helping dice, but then you don't get the weakness negative effect, right? The negative effect is not relevant. Like even though the monotony is part of it, it doesn't have a negative effect on your roll because it's helping what you're trying to do here.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
So would that be like 2 steps up then, or just for 1 step up?
Yeah, 2 steps up. Yeah.
Oh, so I can't do that anyway because I've got harm.
Oh, so
I'm irrelevant again. It's fine.
Thanks for looking into that.
I think I'm gonna add emotional chains and reading subtext to this role. I feel like they are both very good for this.
I agree.
Reading the subtext of my daddy. What are you rolling, Ellen? Sorry.
What's your die?
What die are you rolling?
D12.
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 I'm rolling a D6. So I'm going to take some harm as well. And so I get to add 3 for the harm. All right, I think I got
Even with those skills factoring in, you're rolling a d6.
the skills just add +3 to the die roll. They don't bump up my die type.
Yeah.
No, that's all right. The only way to get my extra die type is to have friends, and I don't. So, well, I'm ready to roll whenever you are, Ellen.
All right. Nope.
1, 2, and I'm adding 3, so that's 8 in total. Bloop.
Yay, Honeysuckle gets
Okay.
daddies.
All right.
I had to spend a lot and take some harm, but and I think it's like he's got the like a monotone face, like he's got that blank like facial expression, and you wouldn't Algebra wouldn't be able to see it from looking onto it, but just where their fingers touch, Honeysuckle comes away with like a bit of a smile and like a bit of a little shake in the shoulders. I felt that pride. Daddy.
Oh, good job.
But like Tomer's actual expression is still like monotonous.
Yeah.
Just like
Oh my God.
Not expressing any kind of.
You read that subtext, right? You read the subtext.
I take another sip. By the way, my canteen is going to run out if I keep taking sips.
So you want to, get to that proposition you have there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tomer.
Yeah, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this is when I basically say, I can get the water back if you do this favor for me, and if you want, we can cut from there. Or if you want to oppose that declaration, we can do that as well.
No, I reckon just like looking sideways at her father, just being like, "Oh yeah, no, I can help you. I can do a lot of things."
Yeah, and I think we answered that
powerful.
question.
Yeah, okay. So the reason was partially because
Algebra is a dick.
Partially because Algebra is a dick, and partially because
She was thirsty.
Well, no, but partially because Honeysuckle was feeling all puffed up because of the daddy vibes.
Yeah, I would have agreed to anything.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Okay.
I was riding a daddy high.
Yeah, that good daddy high. All right, which is a different thing if you're talking about Gauntlet Codex. So let's do the resolution for this scene. Yeah.
You hit like how many of your prime?
Well, we're gonna find that out, right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so the first thing for me to do is to look at my beliefs. The oasis hides from prying eyes. That was refuted, right? Desire brings absence. That was also refuted. And water is a precious illusion.
That was also refuted.
Also refuted. So all my beliefs were refuted, which means I still get 3 influence because they were addressed, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's good.
Okay,
so I'm up to
a ton of influence. I
have so much influence. Like you have no idea. Y'all don't know about my influence. I've got 9 influence. Yeah.
Too bad you can do reflection scenes.
Yeah, that's well. No, I can do that. I can ask people questions.
Wait. No, reflection scenes. The one.
Oh
where...
yeah, reflection. Yeah, but I can do interludes. So.
Yeah, you can do interludes. Like that's fine.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's talk about the people who were in the scene, what their beliefs were.
All hopes and dreams are self-interested. I think I hit that because Algebra is a kind of a dick.
Okay, Algebar. Yeah. All hopes and dreams are self-interested. Yeah, and I think you kind of hit it by being uh like pushing on the other character's self-interest, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it so that you have to act out of your own self-interest
Yeah.
to get water to survive.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's fair. I think you hit that. True love is a trick of the mind. Um, I,
No,
I,
I didn't. I
yeah,
didn't do
you
that.
personally did not do that, right?
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Even though there's like the question of love did come up in the scene, it was not related to Algamar specifically. So yeah, you get one influence from that.
Alright. I get a new nickname though, so yay.
Yeah. That's an extra rule bonus you got. Okay, at a honeysuckle, truth is objective, information is immutable.
No, that's the one we hit last time. It's
Oh, sorry. Okay, you did it the opposite way. All right.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah,
All relationships are built on self-interest.
we refuted
I
that.
think I refuted
Yeah,
that.
you refuted
Yeah.
that for sure. And the faith is fading. Eludra's tears will melt. I don't think we've hit that.
Didn't
yet.
touch it.
Yeah, so you got an influence as well.
Yeah, I will change how I'm doing them so that we're all doing them the same way.
Yeah, and then so I cleared all my beliefs, which means that everybody else gets one influence.
What?
Bruh. Yay.
We're
free
all winning
influence.
now.
Yeah. Cool.
I
Nice.
think we're on time.
Yeah, I think we're on time here. So let's just very quickly do some stars and wishes. Yeah. So first of all, let's do the stars. So Sid, do you have a star?
It's muted at the moment. I do. I want to give a star to Ellen for jumping in and playing Tomer, because it gave me a really cool opportunity to hit my family beliefs, which was a really cool, like, selflessy thing to do, and I was really grateful. And I love that I had to fight for his affection and spend resources for it. Like, that for me was a really nice pairing of mechanics and what I wanted to see from the story as well. So thank you for that.
Yeah, liked it. Maria.
I'm gonna give a star for Sid for letting me do horrible shit to his character.
Good. Yes, you definitely got to spotlight your character. You seem as good as spotlight there. Yeah. Lou, do you have a star?
Yeah, mine's for Maria for for coming in so hard with those two like framing things. Like, it's really it meant we just got to take right off with telling a story. I think that was really cool. Yeah, like pretty much framing Sid's character for murder and then threatening to kill him in the desert if he didn't do the murder in the next scene. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, no, it was really good. Good framing. Ellen, do you have a star?
Yeah, my star goes to you, Kyle. You've just you make like the complexities of this world seem like tangible, and not the complexities tangible. You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah, yeah, I think I see what you're getting at.
You make it less complex. Like,
Okay.
there's all these things going on, all these influences, all these beliefs from all these interlocking things, but you manage to hit them all and make it easy.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot. I think, okay, so stars. So everybody's said nice things. I want to give a star to Jason, to the author, for the interlude stuff. I think those scenes are really cool. I really like the way the rules work there. I think that's like the little quiet scenes in between the main scenes. I think we all kind of enjoyed those a lot, and I think that's really positive. So yeah, cool. And wishes. I will start. I would like. Okay, my wish is that I can talk to Jason to get some clarification on a few of these rules, because there's a few things about player agency and the boundaries of what is and is not allowed to each person that I really want to be clear on, so that I'm not stepping on people's toes in ways that the rules don't intend.
Or me, for example, just declaring that Honeysuckle is framed for murder. Oh, and by the way, this other shit happened. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, just having the rules is really important, because like you were saying, Lou, like this is basically like let's play make believe, and then we have like you're like no, like you can't do that. I'm a dinosaur and I have 800 arms, and
yeah, it is a bit like that.
You need to have some rules.
I mean, Blades has that too, but it's very clear, like how you're like, no, that didn't happen, and you've got a resource pool of how often you can say that it didn't happen, and then
it's just the conditions I want to be clear about. So that's my wish. So Ellen, do you have a wish?
I have a wish to I will want to see more interactions between our characters and relationships either evolve and or disintegrate. It's fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And Luke, do you have a wish?
I did have one, and then I got sidetracked in the. Oh yeah, just I think just like we were saying earlier, getting to know the system a little bit. I did read half the book, but it was like ages ago, and like so I was just
problem with prep, right? Like I that was my experience with this series as well, whereas I had time in March to prep for this series. But then I was like, if I prep for this series in March, I'm just going to forget everything. So then I ended up kind of being like, oh, I don't know enough. And so I feel that very.
I was feeling it was good that the story was really compelling for me. So that was dragging me through it. But I was floating around going like, what the fuck's going on? I don't know what to. Like, I just didn't know even the basics like of it. But I think also like as a wish, like I think you also kind of started to address that when we came back from the break in terms of going back to the actual text and giving us a bit like more support. So I think you've kind of already started to like make my wish come true.
We're on the road to the other side of the rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, Maria, do you have a wish?
I wish to see more of Talon, because she didn't shine enough in this session. We saw like a lot of the other characters, not Talon. So
yeah, that's why I tried to jump in with that little like the interlude scene for that character as well, just so we at least got to see a little bit.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to find some triangles to get Talon pulled into this situation here. Yeah. Okay, and Sid, do you have a wish?
I got two. One I'll drop really quickly is that specifically about Talon. I really want to hit the families of fire that needs to be quenched and like figure that out, because that's such an interesting belief that like I don't know what that means exactly, and so I'm really interested to see what it means, and I'm interested to see whether we accept it or reject it. Like that one's super important to me. So families fire that needs to be quenched is probably my biggest wish. And my wish for the system is similar, which is that it'd be nice if when we were framing up scenes, because scenes are so hard framed in this, it'd be nice if the system said and like discuss which belief you're trying to hit with it or something like that. So like name the place and which belief that ties in with. Name the tilt and which belief that ties in with. And like, yeah, that might not be everywhere, but it feels at the moment like there's a bit of a gulf between when we act in the story and when we frame the scene. And that's kind of,
Right. So I feel like that falls a lot on me. It says at the beginning of each scene, the GM gets the first opportunity to make a statement or declaration. During the scene, so I feel like I probably could be doing a better job of making that bridging happen between the framing and the start of the scene itself. But I totally see what you're saying there, Sid. I think that's a really good idea as a way of reminding ourselves during the framing process what beliefs are relevant. Because you know, whenever I do the framing, the first thing I look at is always the beliefs, right? I'm like, okay, well, what am I going to do here? This is going to be about somebody's belief or one of my beliefs. But I think like having some kind of like, you know, procedure that like pulls that in would be very positive. Yeah.
And maybe it's more of a best play practice than it is, like, as you said, to look at it. But it's just a thought that I had, because it is a very collaborative game. And it'd be cool if we were like collaborating. If we were collaborating about, we're putting your parent in here, so let's hit this family belief that you have, or, you know, something else.
Yeah, there's a lot of sort of like implied sort of like player knowledge and competence. Like there's a lot of like reliance on subtext in the way the game's written, is what I feel, is that like everybody's kind of reading what everybody else is aiming for. And so to make some of that text would ease some of the awkwardness and getting things moving a little bit, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So that's a cool idea. I like it. So thanks everybody. I will see you next weekend. I have to get going. I'm sure you all have things to do as well. Have a good wedding. To both of you.
You guys got a wedding. Have fun. Take pictures.
We're going to a 2 brides wedding, our first legal 2 brides wedding. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Yeah.
See you next.
Bye. Don't forget to stop the broadcast.